What's up, YouTube? Today I got a 20-gallon Pico tank reseal. It's gonna be part one. Big shout out to Sancho from nanoreefs.com, streefs.com for hooking me up with this tank for free. Basically, it's a 20-gallon Pico tank that came apart. Bottom front edge and the back bottom corner here. Basically, he said there was like a mini earthquake or something, and the tank kind of shifted on its stand, causing the seams to release. I know he's had this tank for quite a while. I'm not exactly sure how long. It is an all-in-one, that carries full-size filter socks, which I have laying right over here. All the parts. He pretty much didn't want to deal with trying to reseal it. I plan on resealing a larger tank in the next coming weeks or months, depending on how much time I can actually spend working on it. Today in part one I will be removing all the panels and trying to clean up some silicone. I'm not really going to go into too much detail about removing the silicone, but I will show you my approach to going about this. So the first thing I did was I marked all the panels with dry erase marker, front, bottom, left, right, left side panel, front, bottom, left, right. I put these little post-it notes on here, and I taped them just in case they want to fall off. Did that all the way around, including the bottom. I use dry erase marker so it will come off. But, no, we'll see how long it lasts. I've never torn apart this style tank before, but I have resealed an all-in-one in the past, CAD lights. I didn't make a video. I figured, you know what, I'm going to be doing it. Maybe someone might want to do this in the future. I'm not going to get into what silicone I'm using in this video. Basically, I'm just going to show you how I plan to remove the panels, and we will remove a panel and see how it goes. So give me a second. Okay, so what I have here is a pack of razor blades, probably about 100, 150 in there. Got them off Amazon, they're like $2. I got a safety scraper, some tape, and I got this little wire thing I made. Basically, I took an old lighter that was empty and took the spring out, stretched it, wrapped it around this little pin cap, and this little toy my kid had. I don't know, it's kind of like junk toy laying around. You could use dowels or whatever. But my plan is to stretch it, run it between the seams. You can also use fishing line, thin gauge wire. You could probably even just use a straight razor blade, but I've found in the past that this is the quickest way to just breaking the initial seal on the tank. I don't have any masking going on or anything like that. I'm just going to run it down the seam right here, run it down the seam over here, and I'm going to turn the tank up on its side, and then I'll run it down this seam right here. Once I remove that panel, I'm going to do the same thing on this corner. I'm going to take the seal here, and then the back panel, and then I will attempt to remove the all-in-one back piece It's acrylic or starboard or something. Feels like starboard. And this part you need to be super careful and not force it. Just so that you do not crack this. The Cadlight tank that I did not take my time, and I tried to force the back panel off, causing a giant crack, which caused me to order a new one, which took several weeks to come in and delayed my whole project. Basically, I'm just going to reseal this tank. My plans are to reseal the tank and then put it back out there for another Aquarius hobbyist to enjoy. I'm going to go ahead and peel the panels apart, clean off all the silicone. I plan on using acetone and steel wool to clean the glass and the hard water stains, as well as vinegar. I'm going to try to get this thing whipped up like brand new again. So again, it's a 20-gallon Pico tank. And that's about it for now. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and I will... Yeah, I wish I had some editing software. Sorry guys, it's my first time doing this, so give me a minute and I'm going to go ahead and try to get this wire started on the first corner, and then I'll pick up the video again and see how it goes. Okay guys, here I am back. I went ahead and got the wire started. I got down about 4 inches, and I found it best, instead of trying to just push the wire down between the seal, if you actually do a saw motion. It's kind of difficult for me to show you since I'm holding my phone trying to make this video, but if you go back and forth as you're applying pressure downwards, it cuts through a lot easier. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to saw through this panel. Tell me when you go.
Go.
So I got my kid here holding my phone for me, and as you can see, I'm just doing a left and right saw motion while applying slight pressure, not a lot of pressure, till I get to the bottom. Alright, we're going to go ahead and pause the video, and I'm going to jump to the other corner. This is how they do it. Alright, we're on the other corner now. We're going to go ahead and start off at the top. Now on this side, I see the seal is a lot tighter up here near the top. You could see down here lower, there's kind of a larger gap. And then it looks like there's a lot more silicone used here on the bottom and not so much up here on the top. So my wire is really having a tough time getting into that crack. I don't want to damage the glass. I'm just going to do it real slow. Kind of hurts your ears. It's kind of like nails on a chalkboard. And yeah, it's not working out too well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn the tank up on the side. And I'm going to come down this way. And then I'm going to try to cut it from the bottom up instead of the top down, just because this is such a tight seal here. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video while I turn the tank up. Go ahead. Alright, so I got the tank turned up on its side now. Just when you're doing this, be careful that it doesn't tip over. Know that you're cutting the panel off and the other panels are going to get weaker. So the last thing you want is a thing to tip over and fall and shatter. I apologize for the blue light. I got my tank here in the background. So we're just going to go ahead and start just like I did before. And I didn't really think too much about this, but I'm going to have an issue because this wire needs to be on the inside of the tank here in order for me to go down. I didn't really think that through too well. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to unravel it from this cap. I'm going to force the wire from the inside through this little hole I made, and then we'll continue. I'm going to pause the video while I do that. Alright, so I had a brain fart here and I was doing things stupid. I was trying to shove a wire through here from the outside and the wire kept bending. And it occurred to me, why don't I just come back through here and then just work my way around the corner. That's basically what I did. I saw motion down this edge with one side inside the tank, and now I'm coming down the long side. Saw motion. I find this lighter spring is really doing an excellent job. I had a little bit thicker wire earlier and it wasn't cutting as good as this spring is. I'm putting very light pressure and just kind of doing a saw motion. And I got these little things on the end here just to protect my fingers from getting cut. We're going to go ahead and pause the video. I'm going to turn the tank on its side and we're going to come down the other side, starting from the bottom towards the top. Okay, so instead of turning the tank on its other side, I had to turn it on its back side. That way I have access to reach my hand in here. If I would have turned it upside down, I wouldn't have had access to get my hand inside here. We're just going to continue sawing motion. And we're going to come down this side, coming from the bottom. Whoa, you could see right there, it kind of went really fast. That's where the seam broke on this tank. Just continuing up. This side is really not showing very much resistance. I'm getting a little more now. And as you get closer to the edge, know that you've already cut this side and this back side, so you want to be careful that you don't pull too hard to where this top slides off and lands on the floor. Just take your time. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit, and just the seam right here is really tight. It's not wanting to, my little wire here is not wanting to pull through as easily. It's coming through. And you can see there, the seam is pretty much through. So now I'm out. We're going to go ahead and gently lift up with pressure just to see what happens. Okay, so it looks like it's going to come right off. So we're going to go ahead and just lift it straight up. Voila. There you have it. Display panel for the front of the tank is now off. You can see the silicone seam. We're going to basically do the same thing on all four corners, and then once I have the whole thing apart, we'll come back and show you how we're going to get all this silicone off. Go ahead and pause.